Now, obviously, you had to, make your risk a lot higher. So when they were saying, "Are you racist?" I'd be going, "Yeah." Are you homophobic? Yeah. Are you this? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, just to get all the boxes ticked. Managed to establish myself as a high risk cell share, and right through my prison, I never had cellmates, and then I've landed in strange ways. And in strange ways, I managed to get me job. I got a little job on the wing. So this is when I'm on remand now for the conspiracy to murder. Hang on, let's read this. Positive vibes. I could listen to your prison stories all night, mate. You should do a live totally about your prison stories and nothing else. Would be class, Darren. Well, you're basically dragging me into it now. Positive vibes. Once again, thanks for that donation, mate. So, I'm a single cell share, high risk cell share now. And I'm in strange ways. I'm on remand in strange ways for the conspiracy to murder, and I'm on K wing. It wasn't a non-swing back then, it was the normal remand wing. For the majority of the Manchester kids, you'll know what I'm on about. And every time the Scousers became a security risk, in the reason I got shipped to strange ways is, remember the occasion when I was. Do you remember the occasion when I was? The threats to kill on the screw. That's the first time I've ever went to Strangeways. And it was that SOA in Walton that got 15 months detained. But because it happened in Walton, they shipped me to Strangeways. And that was my first time in Strangeways. But when I was in Strangeways, because I'd been in the YP system with the majority of the Manx, it was sweet for me. I got placed on K-Wing and I got to know some of the screws. And that's where I first came across Officer Samworth. But anyway, I complete that sentence, I get out. All of a sudden, I'm on the conspiracy to murder charge. I'm in Walton for a bit. There's a little number of us on G-Wing. There's parcels coming over the wall into the kitchens. We were let out of our cell every single day, go on the gym every single day, and no other prisoner could. Who was there then? It was me, Pancake, a kid called Shaddy, and a few kids from the South End, always getting released in the day to go to the gym and do what we were doing. Eventually, it's got a little bit mad in there. We've all been separated. I've been shipped to Strangeways. Because I've been there before, the screws I've landed on K-Wing. The screws have given me a job as the OL orderly. And what the OL means is ordinary letters. So basically, in the prison system, you'll get letters to your door that you can post for nothing. And they're called OLs, right? So there'll be an envelope with a red OL stamped on it. You could write your letter and it'd go out to your family. It still happens now. So I've landed on K-Wing and that was a sought after job. The kid who got that job got acquitted and then I've got the job. So I'm a single cell and my cell's open all day. And when everyone got locked down, that was the best time for the OLs to get done. So me and a few others would be opened up after everyone else had locked down. And I'd just be going round the wing to all the doors, posting these OLs, through the doors to all the inmates. But I'd also, take that off cell 36 and take it along to 39 and be all over the place doing favours for people. Not as a Joey, just knowing that's the way it is in prison. You've got to keep everything flowing. So I'll be giving these OLs out. And that's where I met that Samworth, as I just said before, on that conspiracy to murder charge. So anyway, whilst I'm in there, as I stated before, the kids who misbehaved in Strangeways in Walton sort of got sent to Strangeways as a threat. The Manx and Scousers at war sort of. So anyway, that's when I got Wes Brown in my cell with me. Now, I used to be quite tight with Wes Brown. I think you might have heard this story before, but I used to be quite tight with him. He was Danny's good mate back in the day. They used to do a lot of madness and stuff. So we were on the same level. He'd spend time with us on our estate and so on and so forth. So it was nice to get someone I knew in. And I could pick who I wanted in myself. They couldn't just place anyone in with me. But I could say, can I have him with me? And they'd go, yeah. So I got Wes in me for a duration. And all we were doing was wrestling and grappling them. So you just hear us bouncing off walls, pumping on the floor. You know what wrestling does? Getting heavy every night. And the more we were in there, the heavier it was becoming. Eventually, we got separated. He was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. He was in for a gun crime. And we had another mutual friend back then called Anthony Campbell. He was another kid that used to come on our estate with little Kelly and what's the other kid's name? There used to be a few of them used to come on our estate. They're from the park and Park Road. Anyway, while Anthony Campbell's now in custody on little Kelly's murder, they fell out over something. Kevin Parley and Anthony Campbell have shot little Kelly up outside his ma's house over a £200 debt. Anyway, I was still kind of okay with Anthony Campbell at that time because he was a friend of my younger brothers and so on and so forth. And he used to be a friend, with Wes and others on the estate. So it was like a mutual friendship. So the last time I'm speaking, before Wes got out, I'm saying to Wes, he's going back to Walton or something for his court case. And he'd mentioned Anthony Campbell to me and so on and so forth. And I'd said to him, listen, lad, don't ever turn on Anthony Campbell for anyone. It doesn't matter how much money you get thrown at you, so on and so forth. Don't switch on him. Anyway, he's gone back to Walton for a court case. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I'm hearing that him and a kid called Richard Joyce from Kirby had pulled little Campbell into a cell and slashed his face up. They'd been paid a few grand to do it. Anyway, and that's just a bit of prison. That's a bit of prison. Eventually, I go to court. I'm convicted. And then I'm sent up and down the country for the next 10 years. DZX, what jail was you in 2009? I'm not too sure, mate, to be honest. That's where it was there, mate, 2004. Declan Gamage. And you know what? I was on the ones on G-Wing moving to another wing. I think I was going to the Potential Lifers wing, which was on A wing. And I remember a group of kids coming in. And I think I said something to them, you don't want to be around with your life and coming on these wings. So it might have been me. I'm not saying it was. Yeah, well, what I was saying was, and that's where I met Sam with. And whilst I'm on remand in that place, he also met a few other people, the likes of Cooper, Tommy Joyce. You probably heard of Tommy Joyce a lot, the traveller from Manchester, not the kid that snatches handbags from years ago from Kirby. I'm on about Tommy Joyce from Manchester, completely different family. And you know what it's like when you've got a Scouser and he's the only Scouser in a Manx jail. It is what it is. You've got to sort of stay in your place if you like, because if you don't, you get rushed. But I've never been like that. I've always been a real Scouser and represented us to the heights every time. So as you know, I'm this OL orderly, and the little perks to them jobs was we'd get extra food off the servery when there was food left. And when everyone was locked up on certain days, we'd be out to play pool. And I've got it. So I'm down there. You've got a little circle of us. You've got about 7 Manx. No, you've got about 5 Manx, a kid from Bolton and so on and so forth. And they're all on the cleaners. And I'm there and the only Scouser. Now, me, as you do, I'm waiting for my game of pool, right? I'm sitting there waiting for my game of pool. And some little fat blade that thought he was stocky thought because I'm the only Scouser, he could try and, jump ahead of me in the queue because he's with his boys. And Tommy Joyce will back this up, definitely, because he congratulated me on what a powerful punch you've got. So anyway, it is. I've been waiting 2 or 3 games, it is what it is. It's my game. I'm boss of pool. I can nap people, because of my time in prison. So it's time for me to get my game, a stand up. I think I'm about to play Tommy Joyce, actually. I get the cue off the lad that's just been beaten. Then this little fat blade just starts screaming that he's next. I've been waiting, I'm next. So I'm just looking at everyone thinking, I'm not having this. I couldn't give a f*** obvious there is. I'm not having it. So we start running his mouth off. Get in, you scouse prick. I just went, what? Lifted him. Knocked about 6 teeth out. Lost me job. Little rat. Lost me job and everything over him. So now I'm on the landing without me job. And they've got this Sam Waite came in. He's came in from Forest Bank. He used to be a screw at Forest Bank, and then he said he swerved that job, but I think he got dismissed on disciplinary reasons or whatever. He's landed into strange ways onto the remand wing, and he was like, you know, he was like one of the boys. You can tell the difference between a private sector screw and a state-run screw, or a private sector prison officer and a state-run prison officer. And Sam Waite was one of them chaps that used to just get along. If he could open your door early and let you out, he'd let you out early. If he could let you go and have a phone call, he'd let you have a phone call. He'd sometimes come to my door and put me on the gym list so I was guaranteed my gym. And all this sort of stuff. And that's when he mentioned his book, mate. He mentioned that he was writing a book, and is it okay if I put you in your book? I said, you can mention me, mate, but just say this. And I didn't think he was going to write the book, but I go through my jail years later, and then I didn't really see the book until I got out. And then when I got out, I think it was someone around Atwood that said, you're mentioned in this book. And exactly what I asked that Sam Waite to write, he'd writ.